November 20th, 2022, before sunrise, the crescent moon is in the southeast above Virgo's brightest star Spica. Mars is closest to Earth in 10 nights. The countdown begins. Chart caption, 2022, November 20th, the crescent moon is in the southeast before sunup. By Jeffrey L. Hunt. Chicago, Illinois, sunrise, 6:46 a.m. CDT, sunset, 4:26 p.m. CDT. Check local sources for sunrise and sunset times for your location. The Great Red Spot's transit times, when it is in the center of the planet in the southern hemisphere, 5:22 UT, 15:18 UT, November 21st, 1:14 UT. Convert the time to your time zone. In the US, subtract 5 hours for EST, 6 hours for CST, and so on. Use a telescope to see the spot. Mars Watch. Mars is closest at 8:16 p.m. CST on November 30th, 2:16 UT, December 1st. The distance is 0.544 astronomical unit, also known as an AU, where 1 AU is about 93 million miles. Before sunrise, the planet is 0.555 astronomical units away. This evening, about 4 hours after sundown, the separation is 0.554 astronomical units. Here is today's planet forecast. Morning sky. An hour before sunup, a very thin crescent moon, 14% illuminated, is less than 1/3 of the way up in the southeast. It is 3.8 degrees to the lower left of Porrima, also known as Gamma Virginis, and nearly 11 degrees to the upper right of Sapphire Spica, meaning the ear of corn. Photo caption, 2020, December 11th, about an hour before sunrise, the crescent moon that is 14% illuminated is in the southeastern sky. Look for earthshine on the night portion of the moon from reflected sunlight from Earth's features. Chart caption, 2022, November 20th, Mars is in the west before sunup, below the horns of Taurus. At this hour, Mars is less than 1/3 of the way up in the western sky. It is marching westward, retrograde, against Taurus. It is below the horns, Elnath and Zeta Tauri. As noted above, Earth is closing in on Mars and the two are closest on November 30th. Mars continues to retrograde through its opposition on December 7th until January 12, 2023. Retrograde is an illusion from Earth overtaking and passing Mars. During the next several oppositions of Mars, the closest approaches are getting farther away. Mars is over 40% farther away than it was when the planet was near its closest to the Sun, a so-called perihelic opposition, in 2018. Consequently, the planet is proportionately smaller through a telescopic eyepiece. While the planet is not as large through a telescope as you might think, it's time to convince your neighborhood sky watcher to set up their telescope to show you Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, while the red planet is near its closest to Earth. You get a clearer look at Mars when it is higher in the sky later during the evening. Evening sky. Chart caption, 2022, November 20th, Jupiter and Saturn are easily seen after sundown. Venus and Mercury are slowly entering the evening sky. Speedy Mercury is beginning to catch Venus. It sets 16 minutes after sundown, while Venus follows 7 minutes later. As the sky darkens after sundown, bright Jupiter is over 1/3 of the way up in the southeast. It is nearing the end of its retrograde in front of a dim Pisces star field. Saturn is southward, moving eastward in Capricornus near Deneb al-Jedi and Nashira. Photo caption, this striking view of Jupiter's Great Red Spot and turbulent southern hemisphere was captured by NASA's Juno spacecraft as it performed a close pass of the gas giant planet. NASA photo. At 7:14 p.m., when Jupiter is nearing its highest point in the south, the Great Red Spot is in the southern hemisphere near the center of the planet. A telescope is needed to see the long-lived storm. Chart caption, 2022, November 20th, 4 hours after sundown, Mars is in the eastern sky. Mars rises over an hour after sunset. By 3.5 hours after sundown, the three bright planets are again hanging across the sky from east-northeast to southwest. Mars and Saturn are about the same altitude in the extreme directions, while Jupiter is about halfway up in the south. Tomorrow morning, Mars is again in the western sky, while a very thin crescent moon is low in the east-southeast to the lower left of Spica.